Hi everyone, a very good noon to all of you. I am Nikita and I welcome you to this session. We'll talk about 4 topics today in one class. Synonym, antonyms, fill in the blanks, word exchange, and one more topic, right? Let's see what that is going to be. So it's a mix of vocabulary and grammar, so you can guess what the last topic is going to be, right? The idea behind this is to make you practice questions as they come in your OMETs, right? So your OMETs don't really classify questions that, okay, this segment belongs to vocabulary, this segment belongs to grammar, right? You get mixed questions in the VARC section. So same is the approach here, okay? And the idea is to expose you to direct vocabulary through synonym antonyms, to contextual vocabulary through fill in the blanks, to show you a new question type in word exchange. So we'll focus a lot on this question type today. It's a new question type for some of you. Okay. And to practice a bit of grammar there, just to give you a glimpse of what is expected of you in grammar. Right. So that is the intention behind today's session and questions. Right. Got confused there. And this is relevant for all your other management entrance tests. Vocabulary, as I've told you n number of times, is relevant for every exam on earth, right? Every exam that has an English section. Okay, all right. So on this note, let's begin. Give me a hi, a hello before I launch the question so that I know you are here. Yes. All right. So I'm going to give you the first question, fill in the blank question, right? Read the surrounding words carefully, understand the context and eliminate. It's an easy question. Okay, let's have a look. So 5 options because as I've told you, some of your tests such as NMAT, such as ZAT, MHCT, they give you 5 options. Hence 5 questions today for every question. Okay. Hi Sujata. Hello Angela. Hi Vedant. Good afternoon. So my throat is not that great today, right? So please bear with me. Good afternoon, Pratyusha. Vedant has already answered. All right. Yeah, boy. Okay. He also says C. Who else? Okay. Pratyusha, what do you say? Just 2 responses. I need a couple more before I reveal the answer to you. Okay, Angela says C. So it looks like all of you have arrived at C, and it's an easy question, as I said. You are correct. C is the answer. So when you look at words such as archaic, okay, so some of you might feel that, oh, this may be a difficult question, but it's not. The idea that God's existence, okay, so we're talking about God, that God's existence could be proven by simply observing life on earth. That dash presence could be found in human eyes. So, life on earth is related to human eyes. And basically, we're talking about God's presence here, isn't it? So, it will not be material, it will not be scientific, right? And out of these three, I'm not talking about any religion so far. Please notice that. Yes, I'm talking about God. So, religious does not make as much sense as, let's say, divine. Now, between B and C, B is more general. Abstract is something that does not have a concrete form, a concrete shape, but divine is specifically related to God. Okay, things can be abstract even on the earth, right? When I make a painting, it could be abstract, but I am talking about God's presence here. C is the most appropriate. Right from the first blank, I could gauge that. To confirm that I have chosen the correct option, I'll read further the wings of bees, the order of orchids, or the movements of planets. So basically, things that are there on the earth seemed dash in a dash world where science reigned. So this seemed what? This seemed an old idea. Okay, archaic idea, obsolete idea. Okay, why? Why did it seem obsolete? Because now our world had become secular. Okay, secular is when we are not focused on any particular religion as such, right? Secular is often associated with a scientific temperament also. So when science reigned, we did not we didn't have this idea any longer that you can actually gauge divine presence just through material things. Okay, so all these three blanks make sense when placed together, and C is our answer. Okay. Welcome, welcome. It's always great to know this, right? Always great when students come back and give feedback. Thank you so much, and really hope that you get the best in life. Okay. And yes, um, this is clear to everyone that why B is not the answer. This is important to understand that abstract is more general. Okay. Whereas divine is more specific, related to God. Okay. Coming to the next question. Let's see what you say. Okay, Angela says A. All right. Others, yes. I need more responses. Vedant says B. All right. Pooja says B. Okay. Slightly trickier, yes, than the previous one. That's the beauty of this question. So, two close options here. You may have narrowed down to two options, I would say that. That is A and B. Okay. Now, let's eliminate first. So, these three are easy to eliminate. As well as being easy to dash, and to dash, the smile is also, we are talking about smile in a positive sense in this sentence. Easy to see, whatever I say, make, produce, create, whatever. So basically, I'm saying that it's easy to smile, yes. And then I'm saying that, probably it's easy to expand also or to spread also. Again, whichever word I use, I am not talking about smile in the negative sense in this sentence. Once we realize that, we can eliminate these three options. Calling smile plastic means you're calling it fake. Stringent is something that's very strict, stringent rules. Demanding, something that demands a lot from you, right? So, for instance, if I say the cat preparation can be demanding, that means it demands a lot of your time, a lot of your effort, right? So, these would be negative words here in this context, and therefore A or B. Now, if you look at A, as well as being easy to produce and to expand, okay, first of all, this idea of expansion, production, it makes it appear as if smile is a product, right? Moreover, the smile is also highly flexible. Aren't these ideas also a flexibility only, something that you can expand when you want, right? So this is not really a new idea here, and it does not justify the use of this also. You say also when you say something new but related to the previous one, this is actually saying the previous thing itself. So that's why eliminated. B is our answer. As well as being easy to make and to recognize. See, you can make it, as in you can smile easily, right? You can even recognize it easily when someone else is smiling. The smile is also highly versatile. It does a lot of jobs. It has a lot of functions, right? So this fits with our context. Okay, easy to make. You can even recognize it easily. Also, it is very versatile. It doesn't just have one function in our life. Hence B. Okay. Hope this makes sense. All right. Let's have a look at question 3. You have to find a synonym here. Okay. Direct vocabulary, this one. Okay. D, all right. What else? B. Okay, I need more responses. Come on, this is direct vocabulary. This is a question that saves you time, right? It takes effort to appreciate avant-garde art. This is a term that you should know. It's a French term that has been widely adopted by English. Okay, so avant means advanced and guard means guard, G-U-A-R-D, right? So advanced guard. Translated to English, it means advanced guard. So what should be the answer then? Yes, reactionary. What is reactionary? Reactionary politics or reactionaries, right? A faction of people can also be called reactionaries. People who oppose progress, reform, such people are called reactionary. Okay, such people are called reactionary. So, opposing progress or reform. But advanced, somebody who's advanced won't do that, right? So, we eliminate A, we eliminate B. We are left with these three. What is exquisite? Yes, something that is exquisite. This, let's say, painting provides exquisite details of, let's say, a massacre. So, exquisite. So it presents them in a very delicate way, right? So exquisite is usually used in jewelry, in ornamentation. Usually you'll not see it being used in the context of a massacre. I just recalled a painting and that's why I said it, right? So exquisite is something that's very delicate and it's also intricate, it's beautiful. That is exquisite, and that's why we usually use it for jewelry, for architecture, right? That has a lot of decorative ornamentation. For them, we use this word. So I don't think it's related at all to our discussion here, avant-garde, which means advanced. What is haute couture? The H is silent here, so it's pronounced as haute couture. Yes. Who will tell me? People who are fond of fashion. Yes. So, all these expensive clothes designed by various designers, they are referred to, collectively, they are referred to as haute couture, right? So, designer clothes. It's a French term again, okay? A French term again that has been adopted in English. Our answer, therefore, is inventive. Inventive. See, I think the word itself clarifies it. Invention is something new, original, right? So, inventive is also something that's new and original. So advanced guard in any profession refers to a group of people who are pioneers, right? They do something new in the field. Okay, a group of pioneers, right? So that is the meaning of avant-garde, pioneers. These are inventive people, right? When I say avant-garde art, that means inventive art, new art, something that introduces new to the art, something new to the art field. ठीक है? Everybody's good. Everybody's understood this. We can go to question 4. All right. So I'm assuming that the questions that we've done so far, all the three are clear to you. You know the meaning of archaic, you know what is avant-garde, what is haute couture, and you'll remember them. Yes? Tell me, what is the meaning of, what is the antonym of the underlined word here? So reading the instructions of the question correctly, very important. Absolutely, Sujata. What I am doing is highly relevant for MHCT. See, 5 options, synonym, antonyms, fill in the blanks. Even the word exchange question, it has been dominant in MHCT itself. So you will not find it in a lot of other exams as such, but in MHCT it has been asked. Okay, so what we are doing today is highly relevant for that. Very few people possess rectitude today. To give you a hint, I have heard this word often along with the word moral, moral rectitude. So, very few people possess moral rectitude today. Can you eliminate options? If you know this, can you guess what the antonym should be? So, I've got E and B. What else? Okay. I need the antonym. Remember that I don't need a synonym. Very few people possess moral rectitude today. So, very few people possess moral virtue today. Rectitude means virtue. Okay. This righteousness, when you do something that is considered morally correct, right? That is moral rectitude. Okay. When you act in a manner that is in line with moral values, with what is considered morally correct, that is moral rectitude. Rectitude here. So, aren't these similar ideas? They can't be the answers, right? A and B can't be the answers. Okay, some of you are saying E, discernment. What is discernment? What does it mean to discern? If you can discern between things, you can distinguish between things. Usually, a discerning person can, distinguish between good and bad, right? Very easily. So, such a person possesses good judgment, can distinguish between good and bad. So, discernment again is a similar idea. This idea that you can distinguish between what is morally correct, what is not, and then act accordingly. So, E also cannot be the answer. The answer here is D, Delhi, promiscuity. Promiscuity is considered to be immoral. What is promiscuity? Indulging in sex with multiple people, right? Having extramarital affairs. So that is considered promiscuous. When you have multiple sexual partners, okay, usually without consent. So that is considered promiscuity. And it is considered immoral in our society. So that is why D is the opposite of it. Okay? And not these A, B, and E. A, B, and E, in fact, could be eliminated, especially A and B. Chastisement simply means scolding someone. Okay. When you chastise someone, you scold them, you criticize them, right? So, chastisement is not related to our discussion at all. Okay. So, to scold, to punish, etc. That is to chastise them. Now, in your exam also you can get one of the options that is not related to the discussion at all, and that is okay, right? You have to eliminate such an option rather than marking this that as the antonym. Okay, so we had a better and we had an antonym here in fact, so we'll not mark C as the answer. So far so good, clear to everyone? Promiscuity you will remember, rectitude you'll remember. Now let's come to this question type that I've been talking about, word exchange. What happens here? See, read these instructions carefully. In the given question, 5 words are printed in bold. So these are in bold, okay? These 5. Of these, the positions of 4 words are incorrect and need to be exchanged. One word is in its correct position. 4 words are not in their correct position. So find the word which is correct in its place and needs no exchange. You just have to find that one word that is in its correct position. Okay, and tell me what the answer is. Now, this sentence here could have been picked from anywhere. It could be an opening sentence of an article, it could be a closing sentence, it could be a sentence from the middle. You don't have to worry about that. You just have to look at the words and see where a particular word makes perfect sense, is not misplaced, right? So sometimes you can approach it like this, that you see, okay, this word makes sense here, or you can rearrange the words and then the one that is left that does not need to be rearranged, that is your answer. Whichever works for you. Okay, so let's see what you say here. Attempt. Okay, let's see what you say. All right. Pratyusha has answered. I want others also to answer. Come on. Prajwal says A is in its correct place. These words are not difficult words. All of you will agree with this. Demise means the death. Okay. Cue, it means your hint. Okay. So if when we say this is your cue, that means this will be the hint for you to do something. Right? That's your cue. In performance, this term is used a lot, right? In performance arts. So in stand-up comedy, you will see it being used. In plays, you'll see it being used. Then birth, onset, characterized, easy words. So then, in the case of development, the demise was the new post-war international order characterized by the queue of empires. You know, uh, logically speaking, by the hint of empires to do something does not make much sense. But by the demise of empires makes sense because we are talking about a new world. Yes, so the imperial world was the old world, right? When empires ruled. So this makes more sense here. And probably, I'm saying probably this would make more sense here, right? The birth of the Cold War. No, we are talking about a post-war era. So Cold War will not take birth. Cold War will probably, just a second. The Q was the demise of empires. The onset, sorry. So Cold War is the war after World War II. That's why we are talking it a post-war. Yes, my bad, my bad. Cold War happened after the World Wars, right? So that is why this is a post-war international order where people are not actively fighting, countries are not actively fighting, but there's a Cold War that is going on. So the Cold War का onset होगा, ठीक है? Cold War का end नहीं होगा. My bad. So onset of the Cold War and the birth of several new independent states, right? So that means this is the only one that does not need to be changed. B is the answer here. Characterized. Good. Pratyusha, Virendra, you guys were absolutely correct, right? So it was characterized by. So these were the characteristics. These were the features. Okay. demise of the empires, onset of the Cold War, and birth of several new independent states. Okay, so here you have to see logically, you have to look at the context, right? You have to rearrange a little, and whatever is left, usually that is in its correct position. Sometimes grammatically also you'll be able to see. So, not in this question, but in some questions, some words won't make sense at some places grammatically. Okay, that will also help you. Let's have a look at this question here. Again, a word exchange question. So, tell me which one is in its correct position and needs no exchange. Q, okay, so basically it was the Q for something, right? Just a second, just going back to the previous question. In the case of development, right, the Q. So, what was the sign for development to happen? These were the signs. Okay. So, what signs that, okay, we are in a post war world that is characterized by there were no empires. So, development probably could happen. Then, people were not actively fighting. There was a Cold War. And there were so many new independent states. Okay. So, these were our cues for development to happen. Okay, for they were signs for development to happen. So Q should come in the first place. Okay, what about this one? Let's see what you say here. I've got one answer. What are tentacles? I think science students should know tentacles. I've got just one response so far. I need at least two, three responses before I reveal the answer. I'll not do that before it. Octopus's hands are called tentacles. Tentacles are basically any organs in an organism that are used for grasping, moving, right? Those are called tentacles. Correct, correct. Yes, Pratyusha. The most commonly dash systems of dash, when taken to their dash conclusion, extend their dash to every dash. Okay. I've got two D's, one C. What else? Okay. I've got one correct answer. So the answer is E. Choice is in its correct place. Okay. See, uh, I think logical, you understand that it has to fit here. That means neither A nor C are in their correct position. So I eliminate. Now, you just told me that tentacles are what extended parts. Yes. So they extend their tentacles. Okay. So now D is not in its correct position. B is also not in its correct position. So it's only E that is left. So even if you are not able to place each and every word, which is not necessary, you could eliminate like this. So the sentence is this: the most commonly defended systems of morality, when taken to their logical conclusion, extend their tentacles to every choice. So it's trying to say that, we defend morality. that okay, and various philosophers have given their own philosophy around morality, right? We have different systems of morality as a result. So the ones that are usually defended, that oh, this seems like the correct system, this is the correct system, but when you take them to their logical conclusion, when you follow them and when you follow their rationale, you realize that then morality will enter every choice of yours. Every single choice that you make, you'll have to think from a moral angle, right? That is the meaning of this sentence. Okay, hence E. Excellent. Pratyusha, Virendra, correct. Okay, question 7. What do you say? Let's see who answers the fastest and accurately. That's what I want. Hmm. Tell me. It's been a while. Okay, so please don't shy away from difficult questions. I often see that students don't want to try difficult questions, okay? But that's a mistake because sometimes when you with practice these may become easy for you, right? And of course they'll help you score more. Demographic shift, threat to self-interest, excellent. So it has to be a demographic shift. That means this is not in its correct position, this is not in its correct position, right? Seem to pose to their self-interest. So this is not, and even this is not. So what will be your answer? A. Absolutely correct. A is in its correct position. Excellent, Vedant. Okay, good, Angela. So commitment to liberalism to stand in the way of resisting the threat. Now, see, resisting shift does not make sense at all. So very easy to realize this. Poses to their self-interest. Anyone who does not understand this sentence can ask me. Yes. Okay, read more about demographic shift, read about a term called demographic dividend. Okay, particularly in India's context, right? You should know these things. Okay, question 8. What do you say? Yes. Okay. C, all right. What else? Who are acolytes? Acolytes. So have you heard this word crony? Crony capitalism. Some of you may have come across this term, right? So acolytes are chamchas, cronies, right? Cronies are your chamchas, people who are obsequious towards you, people who are sycophants, right? They always, you'll always find them around you because they want something from you. They want, let's say, to rise in the ladder in the hierarchy. Those are your acolytes. So, knowing the meaning of this word can actually help you. Yes, your followers, correct. But it's a negative term, right? Followers, while that does not have a negative connotation, acolytes does. Okay. So A is correct. Some of you say C is correct. Right. Let's have a look. Trump and his chamchas and his acolytes, right? Poll watchers are people who see whether a poll is being conducted fairly or not, right? So Trump cannot have his own poll watchers. They'll be appointed by the election commission, whatever the body is called in the US, right? So Trump and his acolytes hyped up dash stories about dead people voting, okay, or people voting twice, or votes being found, okay. So Trump and his acolytes votes being found of poll watchers being barred. That means they were not even allowing poll watchers to to see whether the election is being conducted fairly or not. So it's only barred that in its correct position. Okay, so this perhaps comes from an article where we, in the previous sentences, talked about some other stories, let's say. Okay, so some stories about elections not being conducted fairly. That's why we are saying that Trump and his acolytes hyped up similar stories about dead people voting twice, or votes being found that later on, they were found that there were votes in Trump's favor, or let's say some votes were found that showed that the other party had more votes. So later on, they were found conveniently, okay, of poll watchers being barred and so on. So E is the one. Correct, Vedant. Correct, correct. So E is the answer here. They were barred. This was a tricky question. I agree, right? Because uh, it's difficult to gauge that similar would come here. Agree. All Now, these were some word exchange questions. So I told you that there will be a grammar question type also, and that is error correction. So here, basically sentence correction as you call it. A sentence is given to you. 5 ways of phrasing it are given. Tell me which one is the grammatically correct way. Yes. Okay. Some of you say B, some say C. Okay. Others, I need more responses. Come on. You seem a little lazy today. Why is that? Okay. All right. Okay. Excellent. So C is the answer here. And see this. So what actually the difference was, came out, came in, came over, came about, right? This was one difference. Then the placement of politely, this was one difference. And anything versus something. So first it's important that we identify the differences. So the guest came to your place, right? So came out is eliminated right away. Okay, come about means something happens. So if let's say um, if I say that, okay, that event came about, that means it just happened, it occurred, right? So come about is not used for somebody coming to your place. So now we are left with this, came in, came over. Let's have a look at something versus anything, an important difference. When you ask someone, when you make an offer, basically, you politely ask someone if they want to grab a bite, let's say, or if they want to have something, when you make such an offer, you never use any in that context. Any is considered to have a negative connotation there. If you use any, that means you want the answer to be no, right? So when making offers or requests, we use some and not any. Remember this. So eliminated, right? Okay. Now whether whether or not means it does not matter. Whether or not, it does not matter. So for instance, I think you should give him a call whether or not you intend to meet him on Sunday, right? So चाहे तुम उससे संडे को मिलो या ना मिलो उसको कॉल तो कर ही लो. That's what I'm trying to say. So whether or not is, it does not matter really. What we are left with is C. Okay. My daughter asked them politely if they wanted to eat something. Right? Excellent, excellent. So sorry for doubting you. All of you answered correctly. Yes, the last one. So I want enthusiastic response because it's the last one. Let's see. Or rather, we have actually planned a session tomorrow on CMAT language comprehension. Okay, in language comprehension, we didn't find any questions that need to be challenged. So it will be a discussion of the solutions and the answers, right? Regarding the questions to be challenged, I'll just confirm it with my team whether we are having such a session today or not, right? Saral sir said that, okay. Okay, I'll just confirm with my team. Okay. Okay. The beep says B, B. Okay, all right. So our team, if you are here, BYJU'S exam prep cat and MBA, right? Can you please answer Radha's query? Okay, D. All right. So some of you say B here, some of you say D. And good, these are the two options that I expected you to narrow down to. Now, I told you the difference between some and any earlier, right? That any has a slightly negative connotation, whereas some has a positive connotation. When you make offers or you make requests, you use some. Moreover, you use any negative sentences. By negative, I mean those that have not in them. Okay, those that have not in them. I don't want anything. You'll not say I don't want something. So I want something, I don't want anything, do not. Right? So anything was wrong with her is eliminated right away. Right? It's a positive sentence here. No not or nothing here. Right? There's no not. Eliminated. Now, something was wrong with her. Now, basically, something would be wrong with her when she hits people for no reason. That's when you'll say, oh, something is wrong with her. Right? So, for no reason is what I need here. One or another does not make sense. One or the other. That's the expression. One or the other reason. Right? So one or another anyway does not make sense. If she hits people for a reason, then nothing is wrong with her. I mean, hitting is still wrong, but then logically this does not make sense, right? So B versus D. Now, D is more appropriate here. This is a tense rule. So this tells you that you need to study tenses. Okay. In tenses, while for habits, we use the present simple tense. Yes, habits, universal truth. हम कौन सा use करते हैं? Present simple. But when I talk about annoying habits, obstinate habits, persistent habits, I don't use the present simple. Okay, or the simple tense for that matter, present or past simple. Habits or past habits, present habits or past habits. That's what I'm talking about. Let me clarify this. Okay, when I talk about obstinate, persistent habits, be they present or they past, they could be present persistent habits, they could be past persistent habits. I use the continuous tense in that case, not the simple tense. So this is a new learning for you. D would be the answer here. Okay. Something was wrong with her. This is one sentence. She was always hitting people for no reason. We will use was twice here because this is one sentence. This is another sentence. I have joined the two sentences using a semicolon, which is allowed. You can join two sentences, two related sentences, not unrelated, using a semicolon. Okay, Labib. Hope this is clear. D Delhi is the answer, and good. Those of you who said D. That shows that you know the rules of tenses. So this is it from my side for today. We did some vocabulary, some grammar, right? And this is relevant for all your OMETs. Vocabulary is relevant for CAT as well. And if you're preparing for CAT, these are our CAT 22 toppers. Okay, this is our comprehensive program that you can join to be on this list the next year. The link is in the description box. For making this accessible, we have a scholarship program. So we keep conducting scholarship tests. The next one is on 14th at 11 a.m. If you perform well, you can get up to a 90% scholarship. And in case you're confused about your CAT strategy, you want a focused plan, then you should attend this session by Gautam sir on the 21st at 11 a.m. Right? You need to register for it now. 6 months to CAT 2023. Also, in case you feel that you don't have enough practice material, we have a lot of that for you on our app, right? You can download it, and in the practice tab, you will find these quizzes that you can practice. Vocabulary, grammar, on all the topics, right? Even quant and LRDI. And in case you're practicing for CAT and you want more questions, so again, we have this series called 500 Most Expected Questions running on YouTube, right? So do keep joining us for this series. Okay, Labib is saying, so semicolon means that's the end of a sentence too. See, I explained it a little simply to you that I can join two sentences using a semicolon. But the moment I join them, okay, now X and Y, now this is one whole sentence. We will now not call this a sentence, we'll simply call it a clause. And this is a clause, right? So, I think I should write at that place itself. I watched a movie yesterday. Let's say full stop. It was interesting. It was interesting. And these are two sentences. Now, let's say I feel that they are very related and I should not really write them as two separate sentences. This should be one sentence. But because these are two independent clauses, as we call them in English, meaning they have a subject, they have a verb, and they make complete sense. A subject and a verb, and they make complete sense. This also makes complete sense, right? So I cannot join them into one single sentence using simply a comma. A comma is not that powerful. उसके पास इतनी power नहीं है. तो क्या है फिर उसके लिए? For that purpose, a semicolon was invented. So I can join them using a semicolon. Now this I will become small. Okay, and now this becomes one whole sentence. So you can join two independent clauses using a semicolon. Now this becomes one sentence. Okay, Labib, hope this is clear. All right. And yes, we are everywhere on social media. You can join us anywhere. Yes, do download the app for more sessions like this. Okay. Today, I'll see you at 5 p.m. on the app. I'll talk to you about what kind of profile you need to build to get into the IIMs, right? So if you're interested, you can attend that. Okay. And yes, thank you for attending. I'll see you again. Bye bye.